Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Wednesday, August the 28th, race number 9 at Saratoga. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the inner turf. It is the Grade 3 with anticipation stakes for 2-year-olds. You can play this graded stake and the nice card at the spa on Wednesday with a new DRFBets account. Sign up at drf.com/bet. Get $100 in deposit matches. Let's meet the field for this year's edition of the With Anticipation. You can download free Formulator past performances for the race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1 Tuggle. And Mike, this horse should show speed stretching out in his turf debut, and he has a very powerful turf pedigree. He's by turf champion point of entry, 14% winners from first turf runners. The Dam won on the turf, and perhaps most importantly, the Dam's a half to Dancing Forever, who won the Grade 1 Manhattan.
Right. I mean, even though he's never run on turf and never routed, you just sort of get the feeling it's going to be okay for him. They wanted to run him on turf first time out. He got rained off. He ran really well to win that race. So they took a shot in the Saratoga Special. You know what? He didn't run that badly in that race either. He's supposed to be able to get the distance. He's supposed to be fine on turf. He just feels like a major player from a lot of different angles, especially because he has speed from the wrap.
And Time Form US expects him to get right to the front under Jose Ortiz, but at 5-2 on the morning line, is this really your kind of horse? I mean, trying something for the first time, not only something, several things, turf and distance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how short a price I would take on him, but, like I said, I just feel like he makes a lot of sense in this race, so I'm not way against him.
The number 2 is Our Country. This one goes out for trainer George Weaver, and he was very impressive last time out. His first race with Lasix, he sat in a stalking position, came with a 4-wide bid turning into the stretch, and then he just drew away from his competition. He's got a nice pedigree by the red-hot first crop stallion Constitution. He's a half to a stakes winner in England. Our Country seems to be moving forward for George Weaver, but he might have to come from last according to Time Form.
I don't know. We'll see what kind. I think he'll get a better trip than that. We'll see where he lands in the early running. I thought he ran fine first time out. I didn't love his debut, but I thought he ran fine. He did improve last time. He finished very impressively in there. He also got a very good trip, and I'm not sure that was the strongest turf maiden we've seen at Saratoga either. I don't not like him, Dan, but I don't love him in here either. He's the kind of horse, if he's going to be one of the favorites, I'm probably not going to be betting on him.
Formulator fact, though, for his trainer, George Weaver, over the past 4 years, 2-year-old last out maiden winners on turf, 40% winners, 70% on the board, 438 ROI. The number 3 is Fly, Fly Away, and this is a very, very well-bred colt. He is a half to the crack turf sprinter Disco Partner. This horse looked good sprinting, going 5.5 last time out. Didn't think it was the strongest field in the world, and now he's going to have to go 1 mile and a 16th. Are you worried about the distance?
I'm a little worried about the distance. He's stepping into open company as well. I gave him credit for winning his turf debut because he was very game in that race, but I wasn't blown away with his performance. I think he has to improve a lot to beat this field.
Christophe Clement, Formulator fact for Fly, Fly Away. Past 5 years, 2-year-old last out maiden winners on the turf, 33% winners, almost a 6.5 ROI. The 4 is Fighting CB, and I think that the Ellis Park maidens are pretty good, these 2-year-olds. That program, not bad at all, very underrated. And we've seen Ken McPeak ship up in the past with Ellis Park horses to do very well. This one came from off a rather slow pace to win at Ellis in the career debut, and the runner-up Billy Batts returned to ship across the country to win for Peter Miller at Del Mar with a 62 buyer.
Yeah, I thought there were things to like about his debut. It didn't come back a fast race, but as you said, the pace was slow. He just settled away from it. He always traveled like he was going to run in that race, and then once he got clear in the stretch, he rolled right over that field. He won for fun. I thought he did some really nice things first time out, and McPeak's another guy who does great work with second-time stars, especially when they win first time out.
Todd Pletcher's had good luck in this race in the past with second-out maidens. He'll try to repeat the trick with the 5 Eagerly, a son of American Pharaoh, whose turf progeny have been surprisingly good thus far. This one's a half to Thrilled, who not only was a stakes-winning dirt router, but a turf winner. This one really seemed a little green as the favorite in his debut. He broke from an outside post. I can understand why Johnny V just didn't want to go wide on the first turn. He ended up last. He really had to urge this horse coming into the stretch. He finished a solid 3rd. You could tell that there's something here. He reminds me of that colt that Pletcher sent out either last year or the year before to win second out in this race.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about too. The horse, I
Opry.
think his name was. Yeah, I think you're right. You know what? This horse ran pretty well first time out. He had a tough post. I'm with you. I thought he was green. They took him back to last. I thought he ran fine. He was a beaten favorite. He comes in here a maiden. I don't care about that stuff. I think he's going to run a lot better in this race.
And the horse that finished fifth in that race turned back in distance to finish second in the Skidmore Stakes with a 72 buyer. The 6 is Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper won at a minor league track in France last time out, but he's been privately purchased by some very shrewd people. The dam, a multiple stakes placed runner on the turf, so you get the feeling that this horse has a nice pedigree. He might be a bit of a sleeper getting Rosario for trainer Michael Stidham.
I looked at him the same way. I know they shipped him to one of the lesser tracks over there to win second time out, but pulling the tape of that race, I actually thought he ran pretty well in there. We'll see what happens. He feels like he's going to be a big price. This owner is very sharp, and it's been a while since I've seen his name, but he used to ship over with horses like this an awful lot with private purchases, and they would really run. So I'm a little bit afraid of this horse at a price.
The number 7, Andesite, very dangerous for Brad Cox and Javier Castellano. This colt made his career debut going 2 turns at Indiana Downs. He was up close to the pace. He finished it off. He beat 3 next out winners, and he's supposed to appreciate distance, being a half to the graded stakes winning Dirt Router Chocolate. We have a formulator fact for Cox. Past 4 years, 2-year-old last out maiden winners on turf, 7 for 14. $3.28 ROI. This fella should be close to the pace and should have the pedigree to last this distance.
Yeah, I agree with all those things. He's really well bred, and he's got a little speed. That wasn't much of a field. I didn't think that he beat last time. He just sat right up on the pace. He was better than those horses. He didn't come back a fast race, but you just get the feeling he'll run better here. The horse that he ran down in the stretch who did win next time out, he just feels like a horse who wants to go 5 for a long. So I'm not surprised that this horse beat him. We'll see what he does, Dan. If he's a price, I'm not going to argue with him.
Let's take a look at our top selections for Wednesday's DRFBets race of the day. I want to talk a little bit about Field Pass. He beat 3 next out winners at the Spa on July the 13th. Now, he got a beautiful trip under Luis Saez that day. He broke from post position 2, settled in the pocket. The rail opened up. He shot on through. He never strayed from the inside, never had a straw in his path. I like the way he finished that race off, and the runner-up I think is a promising horse for Clement. He came back to win with a 75 buyer. I think if Saez breaks here, he can settle into the second flight without losing too much ground.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get another good trip. He ran well first time out sprinting. I didn't like him that much when they brought him up here because I just thought his trip was too good. And then they stretched him out. He got another perfect trip and he won. He's talented. There's no doubt about that. I wonder if he can get another really good trip from the outside post. Maybe he can. I think he beat a good field last time. I really liked the horse that he beat, but Decorated Invader was the horse you wanted out of that race. And he came back and he was really impressive. I'm actually surprised he's not in here. It's been about 3 weeks since that debut. We'll see where he turns up. This horse is dangerous, Dan. I went a different direction.
9-2 on the morning line on the 8 Field Pass. I went 8-2-5-3. You're going for big balloons. The 4 Fighting CB is 10-1 on the morning line for Kenny McPeak.
Yeah, I just liked his debut. I knew he'd be a price in this race. I think he's going to be tactical enough to get a trip in this race. And I think he might be better than the figure makes him look. So I put him on top. And I'm afraid of Jeremiah's horse Toggle on the rail. I put him second. I went 4-1-5.
Nice race, the Grade 3 with anticipation, perhaps a precursor to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf a little bit later this year. You can play the race and the card at the Spa on Wednesday with that DRFBets account and the $100 deposit match that goes along with it. Find out more at drf.com/bet. And approximate post time for the with anticipation is 5:06 Eastern. Best of luck.